Incredible story I read in the Daily Telegraph yesterday, and I must preface this discussion with Heston Russell around these are allegations made about a sociologist who, according to Matthew Benz and Adele Abiani in the Telegraph, was paid almost $6.5 million to, quote, bring about cultural change in the Australian Defence Force. Well, that sociologist, Samantha Crompvoets, is about to write a book, and she's going to obviously make money out of that book, which has upset a lot of ex-veterans. Heston Russell, retired Special Forces Major and founder of Voice of a Veteran, pleased to say he's back with us. Great to have you on the program again, Heston.
G'day, Steve. Great to be back.
What did you make when you read that?
Oh, it's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, this is now ongoing an investigation as we've been through all this last 7 months in the media. And I mean, how is it appropriate, let alone ethical, let alone legal for this person who was brought in on a contract to defence to be undermining this process, let alone just doing what it's currently doing with the reactions in society?
There's so much to unpick here, isn't there? I mean, when you think about, and you've had several tours for your country offshore, put your life at risk, serve with your mates, been at the sharp end of conflict. It's pretty rich when the Defence Department has $6.5 million that they can spend on a study into cultural change in the Defence Force when they can't afford to pay compensation to veterans who come back here and end up taking their own lives.
It's hugely rich, Steve, but that's this big gap between the Department of Defence and the Department of Veterans Affairs and the big issues in cohesion and understanding between. But I mean, the bigger issue here, Steve, is that we don't even have any form of policy to say that this person is not allowed to publish what were meant to be, sensitive personal accounts commissioned by the Department of Defence to conduct a cultural assessment, back in 2015, 2016. How is this legal?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. The book's going to be published by Monash University Publishing. It will come out on July 1, so we're not talking about something that's in the works. It's been written. It is going to be published. And this sociologist says, quote, this book tells the story of what went wrong in the ADF and dismisses suggestions that what happened in Afghanistan was part of the fog of war. I mean, those two provocative statements on their own I would have thought would have had the Defence Minister, the new one, Peter Dutton, going, hang on a minute, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, I look forward to reading, because I don't know if you've read her 2016 report that she was commissioned to conduct, because there's a paragraph in there where she says, she is an amateur and a bystander, and this is basically a publication of rumours and hearsay. I mean, other people's opinions, but nothing I witnessed. And then for someone to come in and say that this is it, never having witnessed, apart from reading it potentially in Clausewitz, what the fog of war is, I just can't understand. I think it's going to be called Bloodlust too, Steve. And I mean, you know what? That might not be a bad title, because what people fail to remember is that our job in Afghanistan was to capture and kill bad people. And we killed, as a Special Operations Task Group, over 11,000. And now we're having more literature published over the allegations against 39 unlawful killings. Let's just take a quick moment to notice that and see where our priorities are.
You've established Voice of a Veteran. Imagine a veteran who is struggling with their own memories of what they were asked to do in Afghanistan. They've come back to their own country. They feel abandoned. They've had alcohol and drug issues. They've got problems with perhaps domestic violence, and their own families walked away from them. Imagine walking into a bookshop. Here's the blurb off a book that you quite rightly point out, Heston, is called Bloodlust, and sees this blurb on this book. Abuses of power and the normalisation of deviance are at the heart of the cultural issues that have long plagued the Australian Defence Force. Yeah,
it's just a minefield, isn't it? Let alone the family member or friend who reads that instead, then asks that question. And a big part of what we're discovering with this mental health crisis we're in at the moment, Steve, it comes down to this attacking and loss of sense of personal identity and sense of self. And that comes from, leaving that system, no longer feeling like you were that person you used to be. And all these pieces that you just mentioned before make up that sense of self. And the more we have these conversations, now undermining potentially what was the best version of ourselves on operations with our team supporting our country, in the public opinion, let alone it actually being factual or truthful, this is where we need Minister Dutton to not be stamping out morning teas, but he's stamping out this crap that his department paid for, and to stand up and defend his men and women when they need it now at home.
I get a sense the new Defence Minister might be a little more aggressive in his advocacy for veterans and against this sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, he should be. I mean, he's got nowhere but to improve from the last one.
Well, it wouldn't be hard, would it? You're quite right. Always a pleasure to catch up with you. Let's hope that somebody sees sense here and this book is not published, although it looks like it's going to come out at sometime in July. If you do read it, I'd love to talk to you again about what you make of it.
Absolutely, Steve. If it comes out, I think I might just have to do a bit of a summary from first-hand accounts. Who knows?
I'd love to hear that. Heston, thank you. Good on you, mate.
Yeah, mate. Thanks, Steve.